Hi, my name is Andrew Goodwin, and I'm going to show you how to automatically name all of your stems and date them and format the date. I will do it first really quickly, and then I'll show you how I did it. So I've got my stems over here that are pre-named. You can name them whatever. And then I've got a project logical editor preset. The first line is media type is equal to group. So we're looking for group tracks. And then we've got color name is equal to black. And I only use the color black for my stem tracks. That way they don't get confused with the kind of regular group tracks that are not stems. Down here, I've got property. Property is not set, is hidden. And that means it's only going to rename the visible tracks. There's a process that I use that helps me select the stems that I'm only going to use. And so ones that are not used are hidden. So in this case, I just want to select the visible ones. And down here, I've got name, prepend to add information before the stem name. The reason I do it this way is because, I can kind of guess ahead of time for what type of stems in general I'm going to use, but the episode number could change every time, or maybe film it could be a little different. The cue number is different every time, and then it seems to always change in the course of the writing several times as well. So you never know what that's going to be until the end. And then the cue name, that may be something you come up with at the last minute. So this information has to be entered at the end. So I've got it set up here where my naming scheme that I need is already typed in, and you can do the same. And that way, all I have to do is say, go in and say, okay, it's episode 102, it's cue number 6. And then I come over here to CN for cue name. That's this abbreviation. Let's say it's the cue name is planets. And then I hit enter. And then under function, I have transform, so it will actually change the information. And then I click apply. And you can see right here, we just added all of that information to every stem track, but kept the name of the stem right here. That is the first part. The next part is the date. Cubase actually has a function to add today's date to your track name, but it formats it a very specific way that you can't change. So you have to add the date and then change the formatting. And there's a couple little tricks to that. So I'm going to go ahead and press the key command that I have that will do that, and then I will go through how I did it. Okay, so it has just formatted the date how I need it. So 11/21/20. And now I will go through how you do that because it is a little confusing. Let me do this where I can just undo the whole thing and it'll be a little easier to see. Yeah, okay. So if I do it that way, yeah, you can kind of see it work better that way. Okay, in the project logical editor, we're going to do the same thing as earlier. We're identifying group tracks that are black, so we're getting only the stems, and then we're saying property is not set, is disabled. So again, we're just selecting the visible group tracks. Down here, we've got name, append, so we're putting it at the end. I mean, you can do whatever you need to do for your naming scheme. And then under parameter 1, just type the word date. Exactly like this, no spaces or anything. And that will actually insert today's date wherever you told it to. And then under function, you select transform, and then you click apply. Let me undo what I did there. Okay, so now we click apply, and we've added today's date. Cubase automatically adds a space in between the date and the name of your track, and it adds the 2 slashes, and it puts it in this format where we've got a 4-digit year. In my case, I needed a 2-digit year and none of those other characters. One more thing about the project logical editor that I found, if you know a better way, let me know in the comments, but you can only really, even though it has where you can add more actions, I'm only able to kind of add the date, and then I have to use separate commands to change the formatting of the date. So that's kind of the trick. So what you do is you create these PLE commands and then go into the macro section under the key commands menu, and you add them to one giant macro. So where it will add the date, then it will remove this, remove that, and add whatever you need to it. Okay, so the first thing I needed to do was to remove this blank space that it added right here and replace it with an underscore. So we've got the same thing. We've got group tracks that are colored black, and they're visible. They're not disabled. They're not hidden, essentially. And then down here, we've got name, replace search string. And then under parameter 2, we have the underscore that we want to replace it with. The trick here under 1, it looks like there's nothing there, but there is actually a space. So if I backspace, it kind of puts it where it is. So you click in box 1 right here, and you press the space bar, and it looks like maybe nothing's there. Hit enter, and that's actually added a space, so it will identify that. If you go to function, then you add function and transform, and you click apply, and you see right here, we just replaced the blank space with the underscore. Now, how Cubase works with all of this is that it starts from the right of the text and it moves left. So it started right here and it started going left, and the first space it found, it replaced it with an underscore. So that's how it works. Luckily, that works for me. And if I click it again, you'll watch right here under between full and mix, it will replace it. So see, it moved to the second space and found it, and it did that. I'll do that for now. Okay, so the next thing I needed to do was to remove the / in the date, or both of them actually. So I'll come in here, it's the same thing, group, the color is black, it's visible, and then down here I've got name, replace search string, and then I've got a / under parameter 1 that I'm looking for, and then under parameter 2, you don't type anything. Don't click it, don't add a space bar, anything. Just leave it blank and then go to function transform, and that will actually delete whatever character is under parameter 1. So if we click apply, we see we've deleted that / and like I said earlier, it starts from the right and it picks up the first one as it moves left. So it will only delete one at a time. So all you need to do is you create this PLE command, and under the macros menu in Cubase, you just add this command twice. So if I click it again, it's going to get rid of the next / in the date, and now that part is cleaned. Okay, so the next thing I needed was a 2-digit year. So I've got the same thing once again. We're looking for group tracks that are black, that are visible, and down here we've got name, replace search string, parameter 1, 20, and then under parameter 2, there's nothing. Because again, anything that is right here, and if you have nothing under parameter 2, it will delete it essentially. And then under function, we've got transform. How I said that it will start from the right and then delete the first match that it finds essentially. So in this case, if I click apply, now I've got a 2-digit year. You know, next year when it's 2021, it's still going to work. So watch this. I'll click it, and now we've got the 2-digit year again because it removed the first 20 it found, which in that case was the first part of it. So we're good for the next 100 years at least. Okay, so I'm going to back up just for a second. There were 2 more things that I have to deal with in the naming scheme that I've got to use sometimes. So typically when you export stems, you're also going to need to export a stereo mix of everything. So I've got all of my stems routed to this track called full mix right here. However, in the name, I need to remove the title full mix, and I also need to replace the word stems with mixdown. The first thing you have to do is just go ahead and name all of your stems with the heading. So it's going to look like this right here. Then we can make a PLE command that will select the group. It looks for a name that contains the word full mix. You can name it whatever you wanted to. Again, property is not set. Event is disabled. That's the wrong way. Whoops. That's why I do these videos. All right. And so that will make sure that if the track is visible, that it will change it. If it's not, it won't do anything. And then down here, we've got name, replace search string, and replace the word stems with mixdown. But it's only going to do it for the track that is named full mix. So it won't mess with the rest of the stems here. And then under function, I've got transform. So if I click apply, we just switch that to mixdown. Okay, so the last thing is to remove the title full mix from this name. So I've got selecting the group track, that the color is black, that the name contains full mix, and then I've got name, replace search string, underscore full mix, because that's just how the formatting comes out when you auto name all of your stems. And then under parameter 2, I've got nothing, which again, that will delete anything that is typed under parameter 1. And then I've got function transform. So if I click apply, it's just removed the name right there. They're essentially ready. If I add the date, so just formatted it. I know it's kind of hard to see. We've just done essentially with 2 key commands. We've added all of the information to the front. We've added today's date, so we don't even have to type in the correct date. It formats it how I wanted it to. I've taken the stereo mixdown track and added mixdown instead of stems. I've also removed the title that I had for it, which was full mix. All of that was automatic. So I'll show you the process again, just to show you how fast it is. I realize that was a lot, and those are a lot of project logical editor commands, but you just need to make a macro in Cubase, have one where you name it, you type in the information, then it executes all the ones that change stems to mixdown, get rid of the full mix title, and also date and format the date for you. You can put all of that into one command, so it's really quick. I use Metagrid to trigger these macros, so it's really simple and they're named. It just says date stems or name stems. So let me undo this and then I will show you that all again. Okay, so here's the name stem. So name it 102, Q6, planets, hit enter, transform, and then I'll hit the key command to date them. And it's done. That's it. So it's that quick to correctly name your stems, have the computer do most of the work for you. And now when I export, I don't have to open up a separate program. I don't have to select all of them and rename them, whatever piece of software or code. They're just done. And you can see on this first one, and we're done. So I hope that helps you guys out and kind of speeds up your workflow. And I will see you later.